Everybody's getting their little dance on. Right, we're back. Episode 17 of this series. This year we have recorded 17 podcasts, and it's only taken 17 podcasts to get our fearless leader, our founder, and our head of Goose, Marty, on the podcast. Marty, how are you doing?
What's the crack? Are we well?
And then in the top corner here, we'll also see our gaming specialist, expert. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to go with that title, Mr. Alex Newman at
Hello.
Remember, the gaming god or goddess. Who knows anymore? You are
2024, I
gorgeous.
can be anything.
So what we're going to go through today is basically the boys' top trends in tech. What is the tech that is getting them, hot under the bonnet? What is the things they like? What is the things we don't like? I think the best place here to start, because the whole reason we had to get Martin finally on a podcast is, as an SEO man, as the leader of this whole debacle, I suppose we'll call that. So, the man nearly got caught out by a scam last week. You know, the ones with the dodgy text messages and whatnot. Yeah, that's Martin. So, Martin, do you want to explain what happened and how you got away with it?
It's funny. I've actually the first thing I felt like doing when it happened was, well, first of all, was slapping myself in the face, followed by telling as many people as possible, because I feel like if I just let everybody know how stupid I am, it'll never come out and I can't be used against me. Like, that's honest to God how stupid I felt. So it was like, it's one of those typical text messages, you get. It's like the you have a customs charge, and like looking back at it now, there were so many red flags. But one, I was on the way to the Dart and I was kind of like, oh, class, I can get this thing paid while I walk. Multitasking, this is fantastic. And two, I was expecting one. So I love air crash investigation. One of the main causes of air crashes, I'm flying tomorrow, I probably shouldn't be bringing this up, is confirmation bias, where people think something is true. And I was expecting a delivery or a text from customs. So I was like, yep, this is real. Went through, ended up verifying Google Pay that obviously Unplugged doesn't use. Ignored the fact that there was $2.99 with a euro sign at the end. It was after coming from an 087. You name it. I missed the red flags because I was just sure this was real. And sure enough, Revolut came along, and I think I had a couple of charges. There was like one for like 400 quid to some men's clothing website, and it was like 300 quid, 200 quid, 150 quid. And then it flipped over to a gift card website. And they went down to like 105, which just happened to be the balance I have in my Revolut account. And bang, gone. So sorry, no, they went to 200 because they hit me twice. They had like maybe 250 in my account, and it went down to like 2 transactions of 106 in a row went out of my account. And like I was making dinner, came back to like 12 Revolut notifications for failed, success, fail. And I was like, oh no, this is not good. And it was like hours after I had paid for my customs thing. And yeah, so I probably beat myself up for a good half an hour while being on chats to Revolut, who, to be fair, weren't massively helpful. But I can't really complain too much because I went through the chargeback route, which technically I shouldn't be allowed to use because it's my own stupidity. But Revolut, because basically I'm a good customer. Like, I'm all in on Revolut.
Yeah, you're a premium user and everything, aren't you?
Yeah, premium, got like credit cards with them. This is probably me doxing myself to a certain extent. Like, a big red flag over here, but like,
it's happening again.
Not again. Not this again. And now we're doxing ourselves.
Maybe I can actually hook up the lights here that like this is the color of the room only when I'm being attacked in messages by scammers. But yeah, so like, I'm all in on Revolut, and I think they obviously looked at my history and was like, yeah, look, you're a good customer, and this is clearly you got scammed, so here's your money back. So technically, the people who lost out here is the platform that let the scammers use my details. Because now I've contacted them obviously as well with all the details being like, you should probably cancel these gift cards or whatever they bought because you need to get your money back because I'm going to get my money back. So yeah. Lesson of the story is it can happen to anyone. I've literally written articles about this. I've commented in the Sunday Times about stuff like this. And just because I was in a hurry to get it paid, not thinking, let my guard down. It's the second time, I would say. This is the only time I've ever been actually fully scammed. The M50 toll nearly got me when that started. Again, had driven through the M50. They're basically slamming into people as much as possible. It's like when they send out these text messages to everybody about AIB, and people just go, I'm not an AIB customer. But if you are, it's just that little bit more believable. So yeah, to take my stupidity and you know what, as well, an important point. don't be embarrassed to talk about this stuff, because I've talked to a few people about this and they've like, yeah, it happened to me before. I didn't want to talk about it. It's like, because the worst thing you can do is sit there and do nothing. Like, I was straight onto Revolut, straight onto other people. Like my mom being like, did you get one of these as well? Just be careful. And yeah, like, don't be embarrassed by it. It can happen if it happens to me. And I'm not saying by any means I'm king of the not being hit by the data scammers. But I should be like top 5% of people not to get
Yeah,
hit.
you should be. Yeah, in theory.
Right?
To be fair, I got one of my favorite scam text messages there the other week, and I mean, from the first second it came in, it screamed red flags. For a start, it came out an 083 number, and it claimed to be Vodafone, who I'm not with and never have had any service with. Vodafone was spelled wrong, and it was like, we're going to terminate your service immediately. I was like,
not treminate you.
It's like when
we're
you
going
get
to
those calls.
terminate your service immediately off an 083 number. I was like, I'm going to say this is not legit. And then they rang me.
Oh,
Did
at
they
least they
say-
followed up.
They
Yeah.
followed up.
That's just polite.
And my favorite line, and this is one for anybody who ever gets a scam call, is like, by the way, I know that you're in the Capitol building there, and this call is also being recorded for, use the line that the insurance companies use on you, training and verification purposes, and you will never see a phone call get hung up so fucking quickly. It's like, no, bye.
And the opposite is now true for me, because now my number is going to be flagged to Tico. Go for him. He fell for it once, he'll fall for it again. So my guard's going to have to be higher than ever for the next couple of months / years / always should be. Like, there's a couple of things I did learn from it though, right? So one, the obvious stuff, like, check all the usual stuff. But to be honest, you get hit by so many of these things, eventually you kind of go blind to them. Like, it just eventually it'll just click one day, and it will happen that you think, oh, that's genuine. The big one that I noticed is, even when you're all in on Revolut, just don't have auto top up turned on, because I don't, and only keep your like daily budget in your like current account. Like, use your vaults or pockets, whatever they call it these days. Like, leave the bulk of your balance there. Like, I actually leave most of my money out of Revolut.
I leave it all in vaults until I need it.
You what?
I leave it all in vaults until I need it.
But exactly, because like the scammers, like the Revolut won't automatically pull money out of your vault to cover a charge in your current account. So by your money not being there, they couldn't get it. So it just started failing. So that's one thing. And also just know what a chargeback is, because chargebacks can be an absolute lifesaver. Like, they're not, from the retailer side, they're pretty harsh. Like, retailers hate them, because it basically just means you're going, I've been done over here. I don't really know who's to blame, but I want to blame the retailer effectively. Which, look, to be fair, the retailer should have more checks and balances to make sure that was my card. So there's my tips. Don't ever leave too much money in your current account. Like, don't worry too much about leaving it in Revolut. Like, but definitely don't leave it in the current account.
Yeah, I know. Like, actually, off camera before we came on, I know you wanted to actually talk a bit about Revolut Premium and the different features, because, as you've mentioned more than once now, you are all in on Revolut. Which, considering the Irish market, AIB and Bank of Ireland being as archaic and old school as they are, is probably the route forward a lot of people are going to be taking. So.
Yeah, and I think on Reddit the other day, like, people were talking about, like, somebody was asking, oh, is there any other countries Revolut's really big in? And the entire thread was just Ireland. Everybody's talking about Ireland. Because we're an outlier in terms of, like, you go to the UK, there's other bank like Starling Bank and Monzo. You go to Germany, nobody's heard of Revolut. It's just that the penetration they've had in Ireland is so big, just because
it's not big in Portugal either. They use MBWay over there, which is like a text message based money transfer service. And obviously their bank accounts, the digital side is way ahead of here. Like,
it goes to show how much the Irish banks fumbled this. Like, it was like any bank that came up with a semi-digital experience, or when they all came together to go, we're going to build the app to beat Revolut, and they just fell apart. It was like, of course they did, because they're Irish banks. Of course they did. They're useless. But like so there's two things before I talk about the premium features. One thing that's really getting my goat right now is websites not accepting virtual cards, disposable cards. That is really annoying me, because I use them for security to keep myself safe. I understand maybe some websites are getting hard done by here, But like, I would probably stop shopping on a website if they start. Well, probably depends on how much I really want to spend the money there. I'm probably talking to the podcast. This is more of a do as I say, not do as I do moment, if I'm being completely honest. But like, it's just so annoying because I do that to protect myself, and a lot of websites now will say, "Oh, sorry, like Dublin Express today wouldn't let me book a bus ticket with a disposable card." Like, what? How could I scam Dublin Express with €10? Like, I'm paying for the ticket right now.
It makes sense when you're going to certain places. Like, I have used it a few times on Temu.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I'm. You better believe I'm using disposable cards on Temu.
I think
but
I bought
yeah,
dingy pairs of socks.
when you're a Revolut premium customer, you basically get access to, like, I think it's like unlimited disposable cards. So it's really annoying that I can't use that. But fortunately, segue of the year award, there are other premium features on Revolut.
Oh, look at that!
What might they be?
Right?
Before.
Not bad for the guy who types more than talks, huh? But yeah, like, so I was kind of playing around, like looking at my Revolut the other day before I got scammed, and I found all these memberships that, like, to be honest, the Revolut app is horrible for navigating. They changed it a couple of years ago, and it's become absolutely impossible to find anything. I could always find the essentials, but the other day I stumbled upon a membership section, and I was like, "What's this? I've literally never seen this in all my life." So they have a whole load of basically premium memberships that you can get for, like, not for free. You're obviously paying for it, but like I'm actually right now, I'm looking through the app to try and find it to get a list of them. I can't find it.
I'm going to actually throw your curveball while you do that. I actually cancelled my premium 2 months ago.
Yeah, like, to be honest, you have to do quite a bit on Revolut to get the money's worth out of it. Like, I was in Japan earlier this year, so it was nice to get like the exchange rates all the time without limits. And I had to do some work on the car recently, which meant I had to take out quite a lot of cash. Didn't get scammed there though, to be honest. I actually think I got quite a good price. But like so there are benefits to it, and I think this is what Revolut has to do more of. It's giving people value for their subscription, because to a certain extent, that subscription, people like Revolut because you're getting one over the banks but not paying fees. But Revolut has to make money, so they give you the subscription model instead, which then you're effectively paying fees, and about the same as what you would with a normal bank in terms of their, what are they called, stamp duty and whatnot.
You get a lot more than what you get in a bank. With a bank, you just get access to your bank account.
So my Revolut now is my travel insurance. It's my some other insurance. I think there's some gadget insurance. It's purchase insurance. So if I buy some stuff and the H&M doesn't want to take it back off me, they'll refund me. I've never had to use it, but I've no reason to doubt it wouldn't work. But what I found the other day that's really cool is memberships. So what do we have? We have Freeletics, which I actually used for the first time yesterday. It's a really nice kind of paid premium workout membership. So I bought all these weights and shit after lockdown, thinking I was going to be a right lad. I've used them like 5 times, but got a personal trainer. A personal trainer told me how to do all the stuff, and then I was like, cool, do that for a month. Now I'm going to go use that program forever. Got really bored of the program, and then yesterday I downloaded this Freeletics app, and I get to like plug in what I want to do, what kind of equipment do I have at home, and it comes up with all these new workouts. So I was doing like new workouts that I've never done before. Actually, kind of made me want to work out, because there's, like, I was just so sick of doing the same thing over and over again. There's look, it's not for me. I have to say, despite the color of my room right now, there's a Tinder Gold subscription you get for free. PixArt, which is like free Photoshop or something, which I actually have used a few times. You get a subscription to The Athletic for sports,
which is the one that I actually fucking used. So when I got my first bill for The Athletic last month, because I only realized I was getting it for free after I cancelled the subscription, because I got a bill for The Athletic for $7.99. I was like,
what a horrible way to find it. It's almost like somebody scammed you. Anyway, then there's Headspace. I'm always big into like meditate. I actually use Headspace quite a bit when I'm they have a whole thing about waking up with your mind racing, where I wake up and I'm thinking about absolutely everything and nothing for like a million miles an hour. You just stick on Headspace and go back to sleep. And Masterclass, which is something, because I'm actually thinking about writing like a book or some shit. I don't know. I just want a midlife crisis. And there's a whole pathway for like storytelling and stuff like that in there. So there's all this stuff that, like, to be honest with you, it costs a lot. Like, Freeletics is like, I think 30 quid a month. PixArt probably like 90 quid a year or something. Like, all these things together, probably 100, 200 euros a year maybe you'd pay for. Would I actually ever pay for them? Maybe not, but I like having all the premium services, and that's the balancing act. Is like, is this genuine value? For me, it is. Like, there's lots of stuff here I will use, but I would probably never pay for.
Anybody who plays a lot, they all get access to lounges.
Yeah, never worked. Never in my life has that worked once.
No,
really.
I've never like you mean free access to a lounge?
That's part of the premium subscription, as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
I know it's only if you get like your flight delayed.
Oh, is it? I thought. Okay, well, that's news. I assumed it
Yeah,
was just you have access to lounge.
it's really annoying. Your flight has to be delayed by like 2 hours, and you have to have pre-registered. So you have to I pre-register for every flight, and never happens.
Bastards. Well played, sirs. Well played indeed.
Who'd have thought I'd tread that needle of Ryanair and Aer Lingus and never have a delayed flight?
Shocking.
It's almost mathematically impossible that that could happen.
Again, back to Reddit. There's a subreddit called "Do the Maths." I'm pretty sure they would love to work out that what the maths is on that.
That's
Wow.
crazy. To be fair, yeah, you've been actually playing with a fair bit of tech at the moment. My favorite article that you've up on the website at the moment is the bill pay, prepay phone calculator.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's what I've wanted to do for years. Which is like, and obviously when you work for one of Ireland's telco companies, as I formerly have, it's kind of difficult to be like, hey, bill pay's a con. Not like bill pay.
No, any chance of ever going back into that industry?
All bridges burned.
Gone.
But like you do the maths on this stuff, and it nearly never works out in favor of the networks. Yeah, like it's actually quick plug to a show that's on TV tonight. There's a guy called Derek Fay. I used to work with him years ago, and he's doing a show. I think he's featuring on a show tonight called "The Cable That Changed the World" or something on RTE. It's gonna be on RTE Player in the next few days. If you can get RTE Player to work, it might be worth watching. So I just figured I'd give him a shout out.
And a little stab to AIB and the RTE Player, and we're on 15 minutes. Great start.
But yeah, so like the calculator is something I wanted to build for years, and I don't know, it's one of those things. It's like, oh, I don't know how I'll ever do it, and then you sat down and did it, and I was like, oh, that was easy. That was done in like 5 minutes. So it's still not perfect, because like I'd love it to be like, pick the phone that you want and the network you want to buy it on, and it dynamically like pulls everything in. But right now what you if you Google bill pay versus prepay, and if you don't find it that way, I'm sorry, I did my best, and then just add Goosed onto the end of your search, you should come up. And then you go in, you put in how much the network wants to charge you for the phone, how much monthly you're going to be paying, how long the contract is for, and then look up the price of it somewhere else, like on direct from Apple or refurbished or something like that. And basically what it'll do, it'll give you a quick little calculation and be like, over the course of 24 months, you will be better off buying this phone for €700 directly from Apple, because you'll actually spend an extra €400 on a contract with a network. It factors in stuff as well, like SIM only. So obviously when you buy from a network, you're also getting a service, the plan. To be honest, the journey with a network, you're probably paying 30, 45 or 60 euros ish with any of the Irish networks. With the likes of 48, you pay $12.99. I think they've been the Goosed recommended SIM only plan for about 2 years now at $12.99.
Yeah, I'm on the Gomo plan myself.
Yeah, like Gomo, if you got in at the right price. Like, are you on the 15 or are you on the 9.99? Or?
I'm on the 9.99 for life.
Nice, OG.
Yeah, back originals. But even then, they went $11.99 for a while, $12.99 for a while, and for $14.99 now.
Yeah,
and I think the reason why I really like this is because obviously in this run of the podcast we've had Refurbed.ie and Swappy both on it, and you can really see. For me, it's actually a topic that I think I'm getting more involved in. I think a little bit. Yeah. Like the amount of waste that electronics has is actually staggering and way higher than I actually thought. And even down to things like the water usage is scandalous on the production, which I never thought about. So like, if you're somebody who's like, I'm going to put my 15-year-old son on a €50 a month contract so they can get the iPhone, it's like, no, don't do that. Go to Swappy, go to Refurbed, go buy the exact same phone, refurbed, pre-loved. It's not secondhand. You're not buying it from some bloke off Dundee down a back alley. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
The parts get reworked. So essentially, you're going buying the top quality. It's like branding. Actually, you know what? It's almost like I have one here.
My God, what were the chances?
That's the iPhone. It's literally perfect condition. It's a pretty kind of shiny purple color. It was like 30% less than buying it from the Apple store. You stick yourself on a SIM-only contract, and over the course of 2 years, I think I worked it out that it works out about €1,300 cheaper. So,
and it's funny, like you have one there. I can't show you mine because it's this. Like Refurb sent me an iPhone 12 like a year and a half, 2 years ago to review, and I've been using it as a webcam ever since. Everybody says, "What kind of posh bastard has an iPhone 12 as a webcam?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not posh. I got sent this to test, and I can't sell it because I got it for free." So,
well, for some, isn't it?
it is a bit privileged. You must say it's not privileged, like.
Yeah, that'll be going. That'll be going back soon. So yeah, I'm going to be in the swappy ads coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. Not that anybody wants to see my head all over the internet, but here we are.
Are we talking like display ads? Are we talking like social ads? Or are you going full on above the line?
So I do not want to be walking to the office in Dublin and seeing my head on a poster. At least if it's on social media, I can hide from me.
I want to see your face on a dart. I'm not happy till that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, look, that might be arranged. We'll have a chat. I'm going to leave you alone, Martin, for now, because I know you have one or two more pieces of tech that you want to talk about. But I want to jump to Alex because, again, before we hopped on, you mentioned a number, 2 billion, and a project, and scandalous. Talk to me about GTA 6.
2024 has been a pretty quiet year for gaming.
It's a nice way to say
not a huge amount has really come out. Like there was Helldivers 2 at the start of the year, and that just got thrown in the toilet about 3 months after it came out because Sony decided to throw all the toys out of the pram. It's back to semi-normal now. It'll definitely get a Game of the Year nomination. Who knows if it'll win? Probably not now at this stage with all the controversy. But in a slow year, you can always count on someone talking about GTA somewhere. As I've said on the pod, the Rockstar games just aren't really for me. They don't do it for me. I just don't gel with them at all. But I'd be stupid to say that GTA 6 isn't going to be the biggest game of next year, possibly the biggest game of the decade. There's no way it's not going to be the biggest media release ever, because currently GTA 5 is that.
Yep.
But to date, it is estimated that they have spent $2 billion developing GTA 6. It's been in development since 2014, so 10 years, $2 billion. To put that into context, inflation adjusted, it's cost about 10% as much as the Manhattan Project. And taken 2.5 times as long.
Fuck it.
Not adjusting for inflation, the Manhattan Project cost $1.1 billion. So,
we got the nuke before we got GTA 6.
Yeah, literally we did. Like it took the nuke 2.5, 3 years, and now we're looking at like 10 years, 11 years total for GTA 6.
Shit, that puts the Goosed hosting into context.
Doesn't it though?
I know that was expensive.
And like all we have so far is one trailer and maybe another one sometime this year.
What a trailer though. What a trailer.
Like, that's all we know.
What a trailer.
If there isn't some, they still have time to rework it. There's got to be some kind of assassinate the president mission. There has to be.
Oh yeah.
If it's based in Florida, like come on, gotta be.
I'm signing straight up for that. That would be fun. Like they're pretty edgy too, aren't they? Like it's GTA.
Yeah, you know what? They probably will.
If
it's not already in the main storyline, I'm sure all main storyline nonsense is done, but it's definitely going to be an online playable mission or something.
100%, or just a random side quest that you come along, or like a random NPC interaction you see in the world.
Do you know what I really hope they do just after the Olympics? I feel like they have to have the gunman.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's like just here's this random Turkish dude, hand in pocket, just popping.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like
or the French pole vaulter with his massive dong.
Hang it in the Louvre.
But the other big piece of gaming news that has just come out today. This is hot off the press. I think last time we were talking, John, there was talk of all these layoffs across the industry and all that kind of stuff. Big news story today. Tango Gameworks, who developed the sleeper hit of last year, Hi-Fi Rush, the studio was closed down by Microsoft inexplicably. Hi-Fi Rush met and exceeded every single target it had set. It had sales targets. It got Game of the Year nominations. It won a couple of awards. It did huge numbers on Xbox Game Pass. The Tango Gameworks said, hey, we want to make a sequel. Can we have a little bit of budget to hire a couple more people? And Microsoft said, no, we're shutting you down. No idea why.
The opposite.
So they instantly put hundreds of people out of work.
Like,
Good
the
news
gaming
is,
is on fire right now. Like,
mm,
it's the start of this. This is the fallout from COVID,
yeah,
and I have sympathy on one hand and a fuck you attitude on the other hand. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, so I've had this gripe 100 times with the lads on the headset. How many games have you played in the last 5 years that have come out fully cooked, finished? Because I can count them on one hand. Most of the stuff is coming out needing patches. Most of the stuff is coming out not finished. They hired out their nose during COVID, thinking that the COVID boom would last forever, not realizing people had to go back outside.
Can someone please explain to me why Call of Duty now has wrestlers in it?
why not?
Microtransactions and children.
What? Like what? Like I was like, oh, Game
Marty,
Pass, cool.
I'll do you one better. You can buy a skin that turns you into a Velociraptor.
Like, we've lost our way.
Fortnite. I can't believe I'm actually going to say this. Fortnite ruined gaming.
Like,
That's my hot take for today. Fortnite has ruined gaming. As much as it's huge, as much as it's a brilliant game, it's that force, quick turner. Developers aren't like Rockstar, probably the opposite end of the scale. Someone like Fortnite, they have developers working around the clock because we need new skins tomorrow, we need new content tomorrow, and it's that quick bullshit turnaround. And because that's what that whole generation now wants and needs, not even that generation. I know plenty of people I know someone who spent €20 on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skin last week.
Money well spent.
Yeah.
You're telling me I get to be Raphael running around? Like, come on.
I'm afraid it's Donatello.
If you want a game that comes out feature complete, buy Japanese. You know, when was the last time a Nintendo game had to be patched? When was the last time a Final Fantasy game had to be patched? I'm replaying Elden Ring right now. That came out basically perfect, fresh out of the oven, and it's just gotten a huge expansion, which everybody is raving about. I haven't had the chance to play it yet because
the only one that I saw
made
from
mistakes.
The Japanese era is probably Arceus. That was 90% cooked when it came out. So they just needed to populate it a bit more. Apart from that was the only one because you were riding a Pokemon like a bike.
Yeah, and that was a Pokemon game, which are always terrible.
Is the whole issue here? Sorry, I think it's best I interject here and we move along. But like,
make Pokemon tattoos. He's after insulting everything I stand for.
Don't get me wrong; they're foundational to my childhood, and I love them dearly. They just are not well-made games.
Carry on.
Yeah, that's a flex right there.
Yeah, no.
I do actually have the Ash Ketchum Pokemon League hat, but it's downstairs. I will go and get it, but that would take too long.
Marty, about your business.
I'll be left out then. But like, is the issue really with this? Like, I know there's going to be 1,000,001 reasons, but it's because we've gone to digital downloads. Like, they have the option. Like, of course, they're doing games half cooked because they can. They don't have to release the final thing. They'd rather have something done than perfect, which is like, okay, that's okay with like web pages and stuff like that. I don't think it's good with a game release that people are paying for. Like, there's been some pretty notable ones. Like, you know, I've just gotten back into Cyberpunk. Like, I was hurt bad by Cyberpunk when it came out.
Never going back to play that. That hurt.
Like, that was the worst launch I've ever seen. The game's really good.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of those though. Like, was it God of War last year? One of the lads bought a physical copy, and he basically said he's never playing anything from that dev house ever again off the back of it. So he bought the physical copy, and what he basically got was a gold sleeve for a CD. No CD. He just got a fucking 16-digit code in the box and the collectible. So he has a sleeve and a collectible, and in said sleeve, all it was a piece of paper with a 16-digit code. There's no CD.
That's pretty stanky.
I think it was God of War. I might be wrong. I'm possibly wrong, but I remember him being like conniptions level of livid and just was like, I'm never playing from this dev house.
I think that would make sense because God of War has that kind of collectible vibe. So they were thinking, oh yeah, people will want the box, but we're not doing discs.
Yeah, I think he spent €200 to get the collectible and the fancy limited edition sleeve and all this. Now, this same fella collects Nintendo Switches. He has 2 of every Switch ever made.
I still to this day regret that I didn't buy a SNES when I was in Japan. Like, I had the option to buy like a broken SNES just to have. And I should have got it. I should have brought it back. I should have put a Raspberry Pi in it. And I should have made it an emulator.
Yeah.
Sorry, randomly just wanted to. I'm confessing I got scammed. I want to confess my regret.
I think there's a lot of recency bias around the whole, you know, Marty, as you said, the digital download thing, because back in the day, I guarantee there were hundreds of games on PlayStation, the original Xbox, that just didn't work, and
There was no comeback.
there was
that
no
was
comeback.
it.
So they just died, and nobody talked about them. They said that game doesn't work. It's not worth thinking about. But now we're saying this game doesn't work, but it might. And the demand is there. You can actually talk to the developers and say,
There's a
"Fix
blog
this
post
now."
on this.
But even the thing
Exactly.
is, like, I'm a digital download guy. I have the PlayStation with no CD drive. I prefer it. It's just easier. I don't have to go anywhere.
I wanted it. I like. There's a question. Where the hell did all them go? I wanted a digital PS5 because like it actually would fit better in my setup.
Yeah,
Well, they
Like, it
only
actually-
sell. I think they only sell digital now, or the PS5 Slim is digital only.
yeah. The
And
Slim is
you have
definitely
to
digital.
buy the add-on disc drive for it with an extra 70
Now,
quid or
the
something.
only thing is that I really don't understand is pre-ordering digital copies. It's not like they're going to run out. I love like fuck yeah, go and pre-order when you're going to like a GameStop, when you're going to Smith's and you're getting your collectible. Make sure that physical copy is goddamn in that store. I'm pre-ordering nothing unless there's a discount to do so.
There's one argument against that, and that is if by some miracle you have worked out to have your power settings in the way that will download it when it comes out when you're asleep. But it almost certainly is impossible to get your settings that way because I've never managed to get it done. Like I have something updates every now and then, but like
or preload a couple of days before, or the Holy Grail early access.
Yeah, early access is beautiful.
Early access I can get behind, but that's few and far between now.
My most anticipated game of this year, Space Marine 2, is coming out in 25 days, I think, the 9th of September. And I'm going to very much struggle not to pay the extra 30 quid for 4 days early access.
I'm going to have early access on FIFA coming up, and I hate that I'm going to do it because it's a copy and paste of the same game again.
But early access, right? Early access should be 30 days, and like they should go into hypercare and just have everybody like you playing it and saying, this is broken, this is broken, this is broken, get a fix for everybody else you didn't pay.
Or maybe they should have do that in the first place and not release the game fucking broken.
Yeah, let's not.
That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. That's
capitalism,
heresy.
man.
Yeah.
I think that's why all those layoffs are happening. That the company's overreached. People are getting annoyed that the games aren't coming out right, and then
to bring this full circle.
It's the quick turnaround culture. So those are my 3 points of why everybody's getting fired.
To bring this full circle, Tango Gameworks today have been acquired by a company called Krafton from Korea. Krafton are most well known for PUBG.
That's going to be okay.
And the Callisto Protocol, which they put out last year or the year before. But they've just bought them. Everybody's keeping their jobs. They are making that sequel. The story has a happy ending after all. Miracles do happen. There is hope and joy in the world.
So you just let us rant for 10 minutes before you gave us the good news.
Hey, it's all good content. Like,
well, I was about to make one final point though.
Yeah,
I know you're saying like the layoffs and poor quality and all that stuff, but there's one more variable here. Fucking Microsoft. They are batshit crazy. Like they don't know what they're doing anymore. Well, they do know what they're doing. They're obviously trying to back out of the console market. Like Game Pass is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
They're letting Sony games onto the Xbox Game Pass platform, I think, where you can buy Sony games on PC and shit. Like wild stuff is happening where they've bought Bethesda to be like the biggest game studio in the world. And they went, do you know what? I don't think we need to invest in software anymore. Like wild stuff is going on with Microsoft. So like whatever their strategy is.
Under Microsoft's tenure, Bethesda have in-house developed one game, and that was already in development when they were bought, and that was Starfield, and nobody is talking about it anymore.
It was
the most meh game.
It was just
the only innovation it had was climbable ladders. That was it. That's the most it offered in terms of a Bethesda game.
I would say Fallout.
Fallout 76.
I'm going to say 4, which is kind of controversial. It's probably one of my favorite games of all time.
I hate it.
It's very controversial.
Yeah. Like I like
really right here in front of my New Vegas.
I know. I loved New Vegas, and New Vegas got me into it. But 4 was the one I buried my life into. Like it was the one that took most of my time, and the storyline I just loved it. I loved everything about the cycle, everything about it. I loved. And then I was like, oh, cool, that in space, nice. And I was like, oh, uninstall. I need that space back. Like. I was just have to build in a brand new gaming PC. I was like, this is awesome. This is the moment. This is what I built it for. And I was like, oh, that's utterly disappointing.
I think another thing is the money involved. Like, I think Spider-Man 2 is probably, for me, probably the most beautiful game outside of Avatar.
It's up there.
If you haven't played the Avatar game by Ubisoft, it's gorgeous, but it's a typical Ubisoft game: deep as a puddle, wide as an ocean.
Is that not just like Abe's Odyssey in HD or something? No.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But Spider-Man was a gorgeous game, the Spider-Man 2, but it cost a fucking small fortune, and it's about 22 hours of gameplay. So it's like, I'm sure it was in the billion mark as well for a game that's 22 hours of gameplay to platinum it. Full platinum in under 30 hours.
Yeah, I think it was something like 230 million to full development cost, and that doesn't include marketing, and the marketing campaign around that game was massive.
Yeah, it's a shame. Was there any other games out there that you were highlighting for the rest of this year?
I have been playing a lot of, and I'm currently writing my review of Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake on Nintendo Switch. Again, shilling for the Japanese companies. I have loved that game like a child for the last 20 years, and going back to it and it being even better than I remember it being, it was just one of those rare treats where it's like I had the highest hopes possible and they were exceeded. I wasn't let down at all. It was stunning. It's beautiful. It plays amazing. It looks unlike anything I had seen. My 2004 self had never looked upon something like that, and it still looks as beautiful as the day I left it. It's so good.
That's why he's the gaming expert. That's passion. I love it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask the loaded question because we all know my feelings on it, and I feel like I'm not with the right audience for asking this question. But VR, you're both in the house of we like VR.
Big into VR, yeah.
Oh,
for anyone.
Sorry, you go first, because I've got like a really interesting take on VR at the minute.
The biggest 180 in terms of my excitement over the summer was, I can't remember who it was or even what conference it was at Summer Games Fest, but they announced a new Batman Arkham game, a VR Batman Arkham game, and oh boy was I excited. And it's an Oculus exclusive. Yeah, like
you just
put it on PC, put it on PlayStation. No, we're just gonna put it on the Facebook thing.
No, why would they do that?
Oh, that's sad.
Wait, can you actually deep meta pockets?
Oh yes,
yeah, it's hanging up there.
Yeah, and that's where it's going to stay.
Yeah,
because what's over here is the one I'm much more excited about.
Yeah, boy.
Because they've just finally, like quite bizarrely, I missed this at the start of the year. They announced that they're like releasing the adapter, which is much like Xbox backing out of making consoles. Sony was saying, do you remember the way we never supported PC or PSVR 1 on PC? Well, yeah, we're going to do that with the PSVR 2 because we don't want to do anything for it anymore. So if you could just go take that into your PC ecosystem, that'd be great. Which means like easily the best pound for pound VR headset is going to be connected to the PC, which has every VR experience for like thousands of them with Steam VR. Yeah. So like I'm going to Germany and I'm going to be picking up, because they're actually quite hard to get the adapters at the minute, but Germany was flooded with them. So I got delivered to the old in-laws house, and I'm going to pick it up over there and come back. I mean, it's going to be really tough having that there and being like, oh, I'm really missing the other 75%. I need to get this working. But like that is, you know, I think I'm going to mess up the specs on this because I haven't looked at them in ages, but like, are they like 2K monitors in that?
Two 2K monitors.
Yeah, which that's like in my head, that's 4K.
Yeah, yeah, like it is like, yeah.
And like it's the best VR experience you can get. Like, okay, you could argue the hardware of Apple is better, but it doesn't do anything.
But also, it's 6 times the price.
Yeah, like I can tell you right now, PC gamers around the world are scrambling to get PSVR 2 headsets. Like, you know, that's why I wrote the article on this a couple of weeks ago, where it was like the PSVR 2 discounts in Smiths are the worst deal ever for console gamers. But if you're a PC gamer, go get it. It's such a good price.
Because they're not making them at the moment.
Yeah, and will they? I think this is it.
They could turn into hen's teeth. Like,
yeah. But this is a seriously good headset, VR headset. Sorry, there's too many letters involved in this. This is probably the best VR headset on the market. You know, lash it into a gaming PC. And the other article I wrote was that there's certain GPUs out there you don't even need to get the adapter, because if you've got one of those I can't think of the name of it, but the USB-C port GPUs, you just plug your VR headset straight into it and it works. Happy days.
Class.
Yeah, I'm still not getting behind VR. I don't know.
You see, VR is like, it's an incidental thing. It's like, oh, if like I got the PSVR 2 to test out, and I was like, oh, cool.
I bought the first one. They ended up selling it because I used it like 3 times and it was a gimmick. But then
I didn't use this much at all. But man, if you have ever done Microsoft Flight Simulator with a VR headset, oh my god, it is the most fun ever.
Yep. Or like Beat Saber is right there.
My room is way too small for that.
Get a bigger room.
I need to get a bigger room.
And you plug it in somewhere and on an extension lead and go outside.
Yeah, make a fool of yourself in the real world.
No, I like to do it only in this room, these 4 walls. But no, like the experience of Flight Simulator with the headset was mind blowing for me because I like just got the Turtle Beach joystick to test out, and I was like, oh, this is okay. I'm flying a plane, it feels cool. But when you put on the headset and like all of a sudden there's no joystick, it's your hands, you're reaching out for controls in the plane, and you have to do everything a pilot would actually have to do, and like you're taking off the headset to go through like instruction manuals for a A320 or something. Like, okay, look, it's niche. Not everybody wants to do that kind of stuff, but that's what VR does. If there's a VR experience for your niche, it is the best experience, and I cannot wait to plug in this headset. I'm not coming out for months.
I think this is just all building to my ultimate VR argument, whereas this is the perfect time for what was it called? Steel Battalion to make a comeback. For people who don't know, Steel Battalion was a game on the original Xbox. It cost €300. But for that €300, you got the game and this huge console deck. Because the game was you were a mech pilot fighting other mechs.
I knew you'd say mech. I knew mech was coming in.
And you had like pedals on the ground, and you had like your joystick controls, and in the middle of it was this big red eject button that had like the plastic lid on it, that when your mech got like on low health, you had to flip up the lid and hit that eject button, otherwise you'd lose all your progress. So if you can bring that into VR and have this big command console in front of me, you're not seeing me for weeks.
There is one title that will get me over to VR, and it'll be a Nintendo VR.
Who knows?
It's coming.
We're only a few months away from reveal.
I was extremely worried you were going to pull out the my Hixel there or something. Like, there's only one thing getting me over to VR.
That's actually rocking there behind the bench. Honestly, again, Joe up, done with gaming. Well, actually, it's still on the topic of gaming because it's gamified. The app is all based on rocket ships.
Oh, makes sense.
Planets.
Okay, yeah.
When you get your program, you put in all your details and like how long you last, what you satisfaction levels, da 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 da. It's actually very, very interesting. And then it gives you basically, timed rocket ships. So you're trying to,
I think it's kind of cute. I think like a lot of this stuff shouldn't be taboo. Like, so I remember I got sent I met them at IFA. It was like a mystery vibe. Now, obviously, talking about this stuff on any platform is difficult, not because it's embarrassing. It's because if we ever want to monetize anything, it all falls apart.
Yep.
When I was reviewing the mystery vibe, I actually don't know if I ever wrote the review or not. I had to turn off all Google display ads on that page because Google doesn't like the sexy stuff. I was like,
can you do that one more?
I'm not going to do that again. That was a once only.
I really enjoyed that.
You get the raw video footage of this. You can do it. You can watch that as disturbingly as much as you want.
Play it back as much as you like, yeah.
And so can anybody on the internet at any time.
But like that thing was cool because it was aimed at people who traveled on their own, wanted to like have a good time when they're like off working for weeks and on end. Like they had a whole pitch that was like, this is a product for consumers. It's just not for all consumers, but and like what you were saying there, it had the same thing, playlists. And I think the one thing that they were missing out on, I was actually like, I don't know if this is a good idea. This is off the top of my head, which is not necessarily a good thing. But like remote control from somebody else in the world.
Oh, they have that in different places. There's
cool. Okay, that's a good idea.
Different products that actually have that, that someone else controls the remote. So you get like a guest login. So you actually get texted like a random URL code that looks like nothing. And then brings you to a little screen on your browser, and then you
great. Another thing to scam me.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's the perfect way to scam somebody.
But yeah, no, I've always thought that the way they try and advertise these things, or the way Google's like it's such Catholic Church energy of like, oh, don't be sinning at home on your own. It's like, what? Screw Google.
Screw Google.
Everyone's monetization here.
They don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't have many questions left to go, but I know, Martin, you have a product you wanted to talk about. This is one of your latest techie tidbits. Your
Oh, the Switchy Maju.
Switchy Maju.
Is that
Yeah.
the technical name?
Yeah, that's an official technical name.
Mm.
So, a company called SwitchBot. It's one of those, and again, this is going to sound super privileged. It's one of those things I actually bought, which in a house as well.
my money and technology.
But like, the first thing I bought was for the intercom in my apartment, because we have like an old apartment that doesn't have like smart intercoms and stuff, but we do have an old intercom. So I was like, it's basically a little bot, and unfortunately all mine are stuck down now. But it's like a little box, and all it does is you press a button in the app and it just goes meep. It's basically all it does. One job, but it does it well. So I have it up on the intercom of the apartment. So like when I'm coming home, I just press a button on my phone, and it actually, it's as if I'm inside pushing the door latch, lets me in. And then I have a SwitchBot Lock Pro, which the review is in drafts and it's been there for a while. I will try and get it out of draft soon. Sorry if the SwitchBot guys are watching. I realize that's been there a long time. The SwitchBot Lock then is like, it's got a little keypad on the outside of my door. I can use a fingerprint to get into my apartment door. So the idea is that while I always carry my keys in case the Wi-Fi goes down, I actually get into my apartment with my phone and my fingerprint and don't actually need anything. So I pop out to the shops knowing my partner's up here. I don't have to worry about getting locked out, because if worse comes to worse, she'll let me in. I just take my phone, pay with my phone, the whole lot. It's really handy. But the latest thing I've done is, because I'm going to Germany for a bit, is I have a SwitchBot on my PC now. So basically I can activate my PC from anywhere in the world, then use TeamViewer, dial in, use a thing called Moonshine, I think it's called, that basically lets me stream my game. No, it's Moonlight. It's definitely Moonlight. Lets me stream my gaming from here to anywhere in the world. Issues will of course be latency. So what I'm like, games like SimCity's Skylines 2, Football Manager, stuff like that's not going to be an issue. Like I can play them now, because like Football Manager on iPad, you have to play that stupid touch version. Yeah. Whereas now, if I'm in the airport, I could actually dial into my PC and play the full version of Football Manager. City Skylines, I've already tested that here locally. It works okay. But like, the distance between here to Germany is going to add quite a lot of latency. Which brings me on to the other thing I'm going to be testing, which is NVIDIA's GeForce thing. I don't know if that's the official name for it. But basically, you get, for, I think it's like €20 a month or something, you get access to a 4080 GPU somewhere in the world that they let you game on. They give you like a virtual system. Wow. It's a cool idea. Sure. It's kind of like what was that thing? Google Stadia. It's like Google Stadia, except there's no games included. So you have to you sign in, and then you have to connect again. The guy who just got scammed shouldn't be saying shit like this, but you just have to connect all your services to this random guy, and hope for the best. But you connect like your Game Pass, Steam, some other stuff like GOG if that's how you got Cyberpunk. That's how I got my copy of Cyberpunk. My second copy of Cyberpunk, actually, which I bought on CD keys. Can we take a second to talk about CD keys and what the hell that is? Like, that website where you buy CD keys from, that they're legit, but they're cheaper. Does anybody actually know how that works?
Well, all I know is CD Projekt Red made a joke about it in The Witcher. So they were fully aware that, people are getting our game for cheaper than they should. But you know what? Nothing we can do to stop it.
I've never understood that. Again, as the guy who's been most recently scammed, it's something I was usually hesitant of. But if I'm able to save me €15, scammers, that's all I want.
First year I didn't buy fantasy football, or not. First year I didn't buy Football Manager, and I'm going to buy it because I need to. Probably will never play that year's version, because the version coming up this year looks very, very interesting. But I have had every copy since release.
So what Football Manager needs to do, and I think this is the lowest hanging fruit in the world. I don't know why they haven't done it. The way, so I actually quite enjoy some of the press engagement and playing with why aren't they using AI for that?
There's stuff coming down the line.
But it's such a lot. Like, why do I have to answer the same? Like, I'm in a season with Rex and
wrapping the match shouts.
Yeah, like all this stuff. Like, but I'm in a
because they don't work.
Oh, well, it doesn't work, and it usually does the opposite. You say anything, and the team shits the bed.
It doesn't even. It's not even that. It doesn't actually have a functionality, even though the icons and stuff change. It doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah. But like I'm in like I think it's 2039 with Wrexham now. They're in the Premiership. We've had a couple of Champions League finals. I don't think we've actually won a major title yet. But like, why isn't AI generating the news articles? Like the prompt will be easy. Here's the news article or the journalist question. Reword this. It just has to be slightly different and just has to reword the responses slightly. Like that's basic use of AI. AI. It's not really AI.
There's quite a few. This year's version is potentially the biggest shift they've had in a long time. There's a new match engine. There's a new match engine and everything. That's half the reason why. Well, there's two reasons why I didn't buy this year's version. It was the same as last year's version, with a slightly different colored skin. Mitrovic no longer plays for Fulham, and I didn't want that sad reminder all year. And to be honest, I needed to be busy, so I didn't want. It is very much the type of game where if I turn it on, I will not be seen for days.
Yeah, I could actually load up mine and see what my playtime is. My playtime is sick on the last one.
I think 2 years ago I wrapped up 3 weeks of the year.
Oh,
like I put away 3 weeks of my year on one game. I was just
and that's not like
that's not heavy duty, but I'm like,
I
have stuff to do, and I still managed to miss 3 weeks of the whole year just on one game. Which
days upon days upon days.
In terms of value for money, I'm going to absolutely throw it out there. It is the best value game for money that has probably ever existed.
Arguably, yeah. I still play it. Do you know what, the reason I love it is because it's not too intensive. Like, so it's still played on my old MacBook, and like, first of all, it worked on a MacBook, which like not much stuff does for if you're a mobile gamer. But like it worked on my MacBook. All the downloads and updates worked. The squad expansions, the picture packs, all the rest of it all worked. And for me, it was like going to Germany at Christmas. I sit on the couch for like a week just drinking beer and playing Football Manager. It's my favorite time of year.
That's basically what I do as well. I go visit the mother, sit in the corner, and don't talk to anybody for the time.
And it's not internet dependent, which is rare in this day and age.
Even better.
So it doesn't like I remember when I was coming back from Japan, actually I bought a new iPad over there because they were like relatively dirt cheap because the yen had fallen apart. Unfortunately, the yen is back. Not for the Japanese, they're pretty happy. But if you were going to Japan to try and buy an iPad, I'm sorry, that ship has sailed. But coming back, I had my Backbone controller, the whole lot, and I sat down the plane, and just as the plane took off, I logged in. It was like, oh, sorry, we need to validate your account before you can access all the stuff you downloaded. And I was like, no, don't do it.
It's like something out of the Twilight Zone.
Spotify does that, where I've downloaded like 60 gigabytes of stuff to listen to on a trip. It's like, no, I need to log in first. I'm like, I'm on a fucking plane. I can't.
That happened to me with a show I was watching. I think the rights transferred from Crunchyroll to Netflix like overnight. I was due to get on a plane, so I downloaded everything the night before. Woke up the next day, didn't check anything because it was downloaded. It was fine, but the rights had transferred over. It just didn't exist on Crunchyroll anymore. I went to look at it. It was still like technically in the download queue. Just couldn't watch it.
Like, do you know what they've really done lately is every single company out there is making the biggest advertisement for piracy to make a big comeback. Like
100%.
Like Disney, who's like writing off physical copies and digital copies of stuff and making stuff just vanish off the face of the earth. Like, we have a social responsibility to pirate videos.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's actually gotten to that point. Like,
Ubisoft came out recently and said that purchase isn't proof of ownership. So if you buy a game, that doesn't necessarily mean you own it. Or like, everyone's saying, fine, then by definition, piracy is not theft.
Oh, amazing! Yes,
fine. Yeah, from Ubisoft's own mouth.
And the biggest pieces of shit in that space right now, and I don't care, Netflix.
Yeah, 100%.
100. Like, we'll get moderated for language. Get fucked. Like, not having it, not happy about it. I literally only kept Netflix because my mother used it. I was using it so little that it actually got to the point where, as an experiment, I didn't pay for it. And I waited to see how long it would be before my mother asked. Took 3 months.
There you go.
Took 3 months. Now, she did actually change her Sky package recently, and she got Netflix as part of it. But that's now part of this whole one IP, one login thing that they're doing. It's like, the whole reason you were successful is because someone could pay for the whole family. Now you're making it one login, one login, one screen, whatever, and then you're now embedding ads into it. So that's the big one. Is even if you're paying for Netflix now, ads are coming regardless of what you do.
So I have one question, right? What do you think there is more of in Ireland? Revolut customers or dodgy boxes?
Dodgy boxes.
Like, so there's about 2.1 million Revolut customers in Ireland-ish. At least last time they did a press release, that's around the number.
Fire stakes.
I think there's easily that many dodgy boxes. And like,
Could be.
Back to my point on your forces towards piracy, I get it. Like, I
We
absolutely
don't approve it. We don't condone it. However, we
do not condone of dodgy
No.
boxes. You should, and I also don't ever think you should pirate stuff. It's wrong. You should at least have purchased a digital copy, but unfortunately, purchase doesn't mean ownership. So that's not even a legitimate way either.
Well, Gabe Newell, years and years ago, when he first set up Steam, said piracy isn't a purchase issue. Piracy is a convenience issue.
Yeah.
If you make your service easy to use and reasonable, people will pay for stuff every day of the week.
100%.
Like the problem is, like, think about Spotify, right? Like I have never thought about canceling Spotify and going back to pirating music. Not that I would have ever pirated music. I wouldn't have been going back to it per se. As
You would have been going to it.
I think we can
It
all.
was the
I
first
think
time.
we can happily speak about the LimeWire era.
Yeah.
What's LimeWire? I'm unfamiliar.
You're probably too young for LimeWire.
So back,
Excuse me. I had FrostWire, which was the virus-free version of LimeWire.
back before text scams, people used to put scams on the internet and make you download them as music files. I falling for them as well.
Numb by Linkin Park.
Download a song, wait 3 days, and hope it was the right one.
It's like, why are these music files exe files? I don't really. Anyway,
Here, I found an old iPod, the one with the clip on the back, the mini one.
one of the nanos.
One of the nanos with the screen, and I went through, and I also found an old, can't even remember the brand of it, little black box one. And so, first of all, atrocious music taste as a young teenager, but second of all, the names of the files where there's little dollar signs and exclamation points. I was like, I wanted to show it to my niece and go, "You have no idea. You have no idea."
Yeah,
like, she'll be on her iPad on YouTube, just going, "Oh, have you heard this song?" It's like, you're 9. I had to figure this out. Like, not happening.
But like, I don't know. I think when I look at, like, so I believe if I have a physical copy of a DVD, or if I've ever had a physical copy of a DVD, I kind of have a right to go get the digital version of that. Now that if I've lost it somewhere, like Intermission. Actually, Intermission's a bad example. If you've lost Intermission, just go to your local charity shop and get it for €1. It's in every. I test you. The next time you go to a charity shop, see if you can find Intermission. I guarantee you it will be there. But you're completely in your rights to go and like download a digital version of that. And then, like, once I got the PC and I got like all this hard drive space and like all this media storage, I was like, sure would be nice to go and build my own Plex server, wouldn't it? And I was like, oh, Plex is pretty good. It's like Plexflix. I can see how this works. And it's like, yeah. And then it's like you're getting closer and closer to being like I've never thought about canceling Spotify because the price is right, the convenience is epic, and I can listen to absolutely every music I want. Would I like them to look after the artists more? Yes. And that's what they should do. But like, not without costing me too much more, because I'm never going back to buying CDs again.
Spotify could increase their prices by $5 and I wouldn't.
Oh, no.
No.
€1.
Bad idea, though. I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, no, I'd hate it.
About €1 is the sweet spot there, or having family plans and things like that.
Family plan, we have a duo plan, and it's class.
The duo plan is the sweet spot.
Now, they missed a trick giving you a duo playlist, because Sam and I are complete polar opposites in terms of music taste.
Yeah,
that playlist is never
separate
getting listened to. Like, absolutely never. Like, Rammstein, Children of Bodom on one end, and like Ariana Grande and Sabrina Carpenter on the other. Like, never the twain shall meet.
But it's a nice
feature.
Dinner party playlist. It keeps everybody happy.
Everybody's miserable half the time.
My brother,
that's kind of life, though, isn't it?
She'll be listening to Hey Tay, and he's listening to like ghetto rap from the mid-80s.
Yeah, but like I kind of like just leaning into Spotify's AI and just like, yeah, go on. Just
actually, if we're gonna like, we're running out of time, but I do actually, now that we're on Spotify and the AI, that is one of the best pieces of AI I think I've found out so far is the DJ feature. I
disagree.
I like that.
Ooh.
What?
Well,
you're on the dual plan, so you don't count because you've ruined your own playlist.
it repeatedly recommends, here's the top 40 in pop, or here's like 12
get
mumble
any of that.
rappers you've never heard of. It's like, I have never listened to the top 40 in pop. I don't know what mumble rap is. Keep that off my algorithm, because now it's on it, because it shows up.
It's been pretty solid for me. Very
Like,
solid for me.
When it hits, it hits. But when it misses, oh boy, does it
I
miss
think
the
I found
mark
like
by a mile.
10, 12 new artists over the last, just this year alone from from it. And some of them are fellas I'd have never found.
But do you want to know like some unusual purchase decisions? Like, so I pay for YouTube Premium because I literally don't have time for ads. Like I see like YouTube on some.
I work in marketing. I disagree with this statement.
Oh man, no! Like I like open a new browser or something, or I haven't logged into Google, and I see an ad on YouTube, and I literally go, "Ugh, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, I will stop everything and go and fix that issue because I'm like, I pay to not see these ads.
I will spend the 2 minutes to log in.
Yeah,
that would have elapsed playing 4 ads, because it's
100% every time without fail. I will do the same. But that means I get YouTube Music for free. I don't use it. It's crap.
Same.
I will have Spotify as well because YouTube Music is so bad. I'm like, why can they not work this out?
Yeah, the biggest tech company in the world can't make a music app worth a damn.
I think what would be a good idea here is YouTube or Google or Alphabet buy Spotify and become an even bigger monopoly and become an even bigger issue in the world. And sorry, I'm not going to go into the Google monopoly thing because I actually don't know enough about it for somebody who works in the industry.
A major issue.
I don't even know what the impact's going to be. Apparently, Google's going to get sold off or some shit. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
There's one simple word that you go, a bing, 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 bing.
Well, you know, like you got like our search GPT thing or GPT search. That's out now. That's like 10,000 testers using that. You know, there's no ads, so it's good. But it's like it's not really anything other than Google without ads.
Yeah.
Like that's what they have invented is we've used AI to leverage this data and show you the same thing without ads. That's what you're doing. It's it's featured snippets, it's recommendations, it's the same thing. Like it's I don't know, the whole world's gone very Emperor's New Clothes with AI. Like AI could be cool, it does some awesome stuff. Like GPT and Gemini, they're genuinely really, really fun to play with. But it's a bit Emperor's New Clothes though.
Very much.
I'm really looking forward to what's coming with Gemini very, 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 very soon.
What
there's new phones coming out on Google. There's a new range.
Are we Pixel 9 now?
We're going to be in the Pixel 9 range with a few new additions, including Gemini.
I will say that the one thing Google did I didn't like was when the 7 didn't support Gemini, or was it the 8? There was one of the new phones they released, and it was like, so they don't support the 8, doesn't support Gemini.
No, but the 9 is going to have it all bedded in as standard.
What a dick move, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's coming? I do you know what? In hindsight, I can understand why. Because it's like bring it in wrong, or take the time, do it right. But my whole bitching about gaming has been
with the exception of the 7. Was it the 7 or the 8 when they came out all guns blazing saying we're going to support this device for 8 years?
Yeah, that was the 8.
Yeah, year 1. Oh, except for that bit.
Yeah. No. We had our fingers crossed. That doesn't count.
Well, I am looking forward to seeing where that comes. The whole thing with the AI thing, though, for me is like most of what we're seeing isn't AI. It's just language learning. And
can I rant about that for a second?
Because it fancy spell check
bugs the shit out of me. Like it's not sentient. It's not thinking. It doesn't have feelings. It's NLP. It's not natural language programming. It's machine learning. It's all of these things. It's not AI. Go watch the movie AI. That's AI. That little child is AI. Sorry. I thought there was going to be more to that.
I thought there was going to be more to that rant.
Yeah, so did I. I really thought
that movie's like 25 years old. Wild.
Really? No, because I feel the same way. Like most AIs out there, it's just input, output. It's not.
Yeah.
Like, have you actually like ChatGPT is good for its function, and if you use it right, like let's say, like I don't know how to fucking code, never going to know. But it's like I was working on a website the other week, and I wanted to get rid of a line of text. So it was like, can you show me in the code where to remove that? Fantastic. But if you try to actually get it to write something for you, it is so obvious that it's written by an AI. It's
Are you using premium or free though? because I have to say I've started using premium with both Gemini and GPT, and they're getting a lot better.
For me, there was a particular thing, like I was filling out government forms, like the language that they want to use on those things. I was like, give me this back in a similar fucking tone, and it was just like,
because I think
my first handwriting came back.
It's come a long way from where it was, and I'm very skeptical of it in general. Like, I don't like the idea of writing articles with AI. I do like the idea of ideation with AI, or give me a structure for what a good article would look like, and then I fill in the gaps and I move stuff around. I delete sections. I add my own sections. But like, it's good for ideation. It gives you an idea of like how big the article should be and all the rest of it. But like when it comes to stuff like Excel formulas or like you say coding, like the stuff that you do is wildly compressed.
Use it for that. That's what it should be used for.
Yeah.
This is the whole purpose of the internet. Here's all the talents and all the skills to do anything you've ever wanted, and then go watch cat videos and stuff.
You know one thing it's crazy good at is translation.
Yeah. In the gaming space,
DeepL is used for translation.
Square Enix are using some form of AI for their localization. So they'll use it for translation, but they'll also use it to animate the lips of the characters moving, which that's not, nobody gets into video games to animate lips.
Yeah, that's time saved right there.
Really weird passion, but that's just saving people time. And you just have
I'm sure there is a few people who've gone into gaming just to animate lips.
But like that's a huge time saver for people, and it's not going to put that many people out of work. It'll save on crunch time.
That's freeing up resources. Totally different.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. I actually don't think there's any other questions I need to ask you today, unless there is anything that you would like to bitch, moan, rant about while we're here.
Did I text you anything earlier that I said I should talk about?
No, you've talked about Revolut. You've talked about your fancy switches and your NVIDIA GG. We talked. Jesus, we've gone through a lot of topics in an hour.
I'm just gonna
fixed gaming. We have fixed banking. We have fixed AI. We have fixed virtual reality, and I got to have my rant about Netflix.
I'm just gonna rant again that I do every 4 years that all the Olympians get free flagship Samsungs. I'm just like, I'm a sucker for foldables. I love them, and I can't justify buying one myself. If anybody wants to see, Daniel Whiffen has a great video on his YouTube channel. He and his brother run the channel. He shows you all the free swag you get for being an Olympian.
It's a wild amount of stuff.
It's brilliant. It's a really good video. It's about 2.5 minutes long. It's great.
I'm going to correct you on one thing though. There's no way the 6 Flip is a flagship. I'm sorry. The Fold is a flagship. I cannot.
Fold, yes. Z Flip.
That phone spec is not high. And that's being really pedantic. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's they say it's a flagship. In their own words, it's flagship. No.
Yeah.
The S25 or 4, whatever we're at it now, that's flagship. The Fold, that's flagship. Flip. I want it though. I just want it.
So I don't have that one, but I have like, I don't know what one this is. This is like the 6 or so, or not. What are they on now? It's like the 3.
They're on 6 now.
I think that's like the 3, and it's like my backup phone.
But they're nice, but I'm not justifying the money for them yet.
No,
and I don't know. Like if I was gonna buy one, the Fold. Yeah, the Fold is the one I'd buy. Honor actually have a really nice foldable. Like it's crazy nice. It's super thin. Battery's amazing. I can't remember what it's called. I don't know what name they have on it. Probably Magic something.
We're probably going to be 18 months off of Apple's one. Whereas
it's in the Irish market.
Fold.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about the Honor one being like.
No, Honor will be very good. I'm saying we're about 18 months shy of Apple coming out with their version. Everybody being like, "Oh my god,
this is the first folding phone ever!"
I've never seen these before.
And the only way this phone could possibly ever work is with a Lightning adapter.
Yeah, we're bringing it back.
USB-C Lightning.
We don't need more.
Let's not joke about that.
No, we're not going down.
We don't want to give them ideas.
Because I'm fully planning to get the 16, and like I'm really excited about everything I have. Like because like I said, I upgraded my MacBook to what is that? I'll show you one thing about my MacBook that's slightly odd, right?
We're going on an adventure.
Whee!
See if you can spot the odd thing.
That's like, oh, it's all reversed.
Everything's backwards.
Okay, that's all right. Well, everything is Japanese.
Just words backwards because I saw command backwards and then I got confused.
Yeah, sorry, to be fair, I didn't think the camera was inverted. So like I have my Japanese MacBook that's USB-C. I have like the new iPad at USB-C, and then I'll have my iPhone. It'll all be USB-C again. I literally can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
I have some adapters that I'm probably have to try out. Like, I don't know how I'm actually gonna get this microphone working with it anymore. I don't even know if that works on USB-C. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Praise our glorious EU.
I have this like multi-taps. Remember multi-tap from like the PS2? I have like a
Mm.
multi-tap dongle type device.
Oh,
Where
handiest thing in the world to have. Just plugs
Yeah.
everything into everything. Like,
So
all of a
good.
sudden you can
when
connect
you
your phone to a monitor.
now I have 17, and it's a tower of joy.
But like, actually, sorry, I know we're wrapping, right? But I have to. You put it into my head. One of the things that probably failed in life that should have never failed, and I know because there's one here somewhere because I refuse to throw it out because I'm going to be able to use it again with iPhone. Probably, maybe. Samsung DeX should have never failed. It was one of the greatest things they ever did.
Yeah, I've used it multiple times, and it was
Samsung DeX
so
was
good.
a brilliant product, probably before its time.
Yeah.
I'm no Samsung stan, but my good lord, that thing was a good idea.
It was before its time.
And the connect, it had HDMI, it had Bluetooth, or not Bluetooth, it had like a dongle space, USB space, it had LAN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
wild.
That thing. When someone does that again, I think we're ready for that.
Could I run an old Note 8 through DeX as an Android TV?
Wait and find out on the latest.
Only one way to find out. Yeah.
Right. On that note, we are over the hour. I know we'll talk for hours because we don't do this very often. But actually, little fun fact before we wrap up the goose. Martin and Alex, I think this is actually the second time you've actually spoken in person.
Yes,
I couldn't even
it's not even in person.
And it's not even in person. So we
This
will
is
be
the
having
longest we've ever actually spoken.
We'll be having our goose summer into Christmas party soon. But for everybody watching, listening, our handles, we are pretty much on every channel bar that one that we do not talk about, the artist formerly known as X or Twitter. That guy. We're not there anymore, but we're everywhere else. We're on Instagram, Goosed_e, Facebook, Goosed. We are on TikTok, which is
it's probably backwards as well, is it?
Oh yeah.
What a pity.
Oh,
what a pointless plug. Oh, that's my password manager.
TikTok is Marty at Goosed, and he has some wonderful content over there. Go actually, go ask him some questions. He likes to answer things and likes people engaging with him. Alex, you'll find on Instagram at WormandNet if you ever have any gaming needs or conversations that you want to have. And me, I exist in the background. No, I'm joking. You can find me on pretty much every social channel. Just spell John with a J-O-N because you'll find probably my dad otherwise. So on that note, goodbye, good evening, good morning, good night, good day, Guten Tag, because Martin's going to Germany. Whenever you listen to this podcast, whenever you watch this podcast, because we are available on video, on Spotify and YouTube and audio and every other good podcasting platform. So peace out, good luck, goodbye, good night. Talk to you in a while, bye.